For my mother's cancer, she survived for 24 years, like full healthy. So I'm not at all scared of that disease as such. Only the treatment may be little tough, but that is there with any treatment. I'll come to know, what is my genetic testing results. I'm not optimistic. Maybe if it is negative, then I may be happy, but otherwise I am almost 90% sure that it is in my family.
Humanwide is a pilot that we are conducting in a primary care clinic in Santa Clara. We at that clinic have also implemented a team-based care model, which we think is going to help us transform what we're doing in primary care. The focus of Humanwide is to consider how can we leverage the best of the art and science of medicine that we have at Stanford and across the country and the world. Technology, genomics, diagnostics, how do we leverage that so that we are focusing on prevention and proactive care to prevent disease before it strikes.
I am Jayshree Pulle. I am from India, so I am in US for the last 6 years, and I'm working as an IT consultant, SAP consultant, and I have a daughter. Her name is Gavri. My mother had cancer almost 24 years back. She started as a breast cancer and she was only 38. But after 5 years again she got ovarian cancer, and then every 5 years it tended to repeat in some form or the other. Then she got this peritoneal cancer. Before real pain, actually she went into coma and then she passed away. So it was in last September. My daughter got leukemia when she was 10 years old, almost 2 years back. It's like a high risk one. The chances of relapsing is more. So they did a bone marrow transplant. Now she's doing fine, perfectly fine. She started going to school this year and she's doing good in school. I wanted to know whether my daughter got it is because of some genetic thing. Because some people when she got sick, they will used to come and console me, oh maybe because your mother also had. You feel sad, is it because I am passed that gene to my daughter? So, I wanted to know that.
Genetics is testing for different genetic polymorphisms or alleles in your genetic code that predict differences in the disease risk that you might have for heart disease or cancer. Your genetic code is in every cell of your body. It's in your blood cells, it's in the epithelial cells of your mouth. You can put a cotton swab in your mouth, scrape the side of your mouth, and send it off to a lab, and we can check your genetic code, and we can sequence all of the base pairs and see if there's any differences in the code that have been related in studies to having increased risk of cancer. Which means for us as providers that we want to watch you a little more closely so that we can prevent disease well ahead of time.
So let's start with you and your own medical history. So you're 39 now, is
Yeah,
that right?
yeah.
Okay. And I saw in your medical record you have hypothyroid.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Do you have any other medical conditions?
Me, myself, no.
Okay. And so it sounds like on your mom's side of the family, there's nobody else who's had breast cancer.
Nobody immediate, but if you see my grandmother's sister, 2 sisters has got cancer.
Okay. What kind of cancers?
One was breast, one was in the colon cancer.
So when we first learned about some of these cancer genes, what we actually learned about was something called BRCA1 and 2, which you've heard about. These are the most common examples of a gene that causes breast and ovarian cancer, and they do kind of go together. All of us have 2 copies of every single one of these genes. So you have 2 copies of BRCA1, I do as well. You have 2 copies of BRCA2, I do as well. The way that these genes work is they're like your instruction book for how your body works. So almost like a cookbook. So you can imagine if you had a cookbook and someone made a major typo on a recipe, your recipe might not turn out how you would want it to, right? Maybe you add twice as much milk as you're supposed to, or leave out the eggs or something like that. Your end product is going to be different. And genes work the same way. They tell our body how to make things and how to function. And so if a gene isn't working properly, that can increase your chance, for example, of cancer. Okay, so what we're actually doing in these genetic tests is reading out every letter, almost like a spell checking program. If we see a difference from what we expect, then we look in a database and we see, is this a change that I know causes a risk for cancer? So your mom, having had breast cancer at less than 50 and ovarian cancer, the chance that she actually has a BRCA1 and 2 mutation is about 40%. So your chance that we're going to find something on this test is about 20%. And that your lifetime risk of breast cancer is around 30%. The other thing I'll just point out is that because both of these numbers are above 20%, I will make a note in your medical record that you should probably be getting screened with the alternating breast MRIs and mammograms every 6 months.
Okay.
Just for caution's sake.
Okay.
Regardless of these test results.
My mother got cancer when I was only 15 years old. She survived for 24 years. For me, having Stanford and good medical facilities here, I don't really worry about cancer as something which will kill me or something soon. But the treatment definitely I feel it is very tough. And even my daughter survived, and I could see her happy dancing. Still when you hear or when I am waiting for the result, I am actually little nervous. So there will be some period where I have to face it. See, now I am going to be 39, 40. So my mother got it when she was 38. So now I could feel that pain when her hair was gone, how difficult it was. Even same thing for my daughter. She used to love her hair. I am not bothered about my hair or anything, but she used to love her hair. And when they lose that, it is difficult. Her cancer kept on repeating. She will be fine for 5-6 years. And then
Hello, yeah, I'm Jayshree here.
Hi, this is Dr. Pauliep. I'm calling from Stanford. Is this a good moment?
Yeah, sure.
I wanted to go over the results of the genetic testing that you did a few weeks ago.
Yeah, okay.
So good news. I wanted to let you know, first of all, that you are negative for BRCA1 and 2, which is wonderful news, given your family history.
Okay, thank you, doctor. That's a great news.
Great. And we've also checked for many other mutations, and they were all negative.
Genetic testing is no longer inaccessible due to high prices, and we can integrate it into what we do in primary care. It's really going to help us define the future of medicine. We'll be able to identify cancers before they even affect a person, just like we do for pap smears, just like we do for prenatal testing for our babies. We'll be testing everyone for the 3 conditions that we know we can have an impact on. That would include colon cancer, breast and ovarian cancer, and hypercholesterolemia, and then have an impact on a patient's health in a way that we haven't been able to before.